Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the Monterey Bay Aquarium's Penguin webcam, streaming from the Monterey Bay Aquarium website. My name's Kristen. I'm part of the staff here at the aquarium, and you may be seeing the penguins swimming over, getting active on the right-hand side because our aviculturist Kim is entering the exhibit right now. Now, she is kicking off today's feeding. It is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon here in Monterey, California, so one of the feeding sessions for our penguins is starting. We are going to be offering food to our penguins in a couple ways. You just saw Kim give Durbin a fish by hand, but she's been tossing many fish back and forth. As those splashes hit the water, the penguins are diving underneath to get the fish and swallow it whole. Now, that bucket of fish currently contains some herring, which are pretty big fish, and silver sides, which are another small bait fish. All of these fish are going to be swallowed whole. They haven't been cleaned at all, so they have heads and eyeballs and guts and bones. And if you look real close, you may see Kim has some very teeny tiny fish, too. These are silver sides. And so we're going to be tossing in those fish for the penguins to eat, as well as hand feeding a few of our birds. Now, one of the birds who's being hand fed, who's up close near Kim's knees right now, more petite than Durbin. This is Ray. So Ray's being given a whole capelin right there, and you can see that she swallowed that fish with no chewing. Now, that is something that we were going to expect with our penguins, because in the wild, your fish is alive. It's trying to escape from you, and the best way to keep it from escaping is to swallow it safely into your body. Luckily, penguins can chew their food after they swallow. So as you'll see, as Durbin takes that fish and it slides down head first, what you're not seeing is how it goes into the penguin's crop and gizzard. These are organs birds have that we don't, and the gizzard is a muscular pouch that chews the food after it's been swallowed. So when you see Ray take that whole capelin into her mouth and down her throat, it may seem like a big mouthful. It may seem like something you would not want to do, and that's right. Don't try this at home. But penguins are designed for it, so they don't have to worry about their fish escaping. It is safely swallowed. Our birds here don't have to worry about the fish escaping. All of this food is provided for them. We have purchased the food, and it's come from sustainable seafood suppliers. Now, providing our penguins with food is important, but we also want to make sure it's not impacting the wild African penguins. Unfortunately, this species is critically endangered. We're down to less than 3% of their wild population. And one of the big impacts for them is food availability. So if you are challenging yourself to try something to help the ocean, one of the things we're talking about today on our webcams is sustainable seafood. All the fish that we're serving our animals, we are going to avoid animals that are unsustainable. So we study seafood. We study how animals are caught or farmed. We study how their population is doing in the wild. And that's all rated through our Seafood Watch Guide. So avoid means don't choose that one. Maybe there is a problem with how they're farmed or how many there are left, and we want to make sure to let those populations recover. So we avoid the avoid-rated seafood. You can find out more about that in our Take Action tab above this webcam, and it helps animals like our penguins. Now, our penguins here need food, but not as much as you might realize. African penguins in the wild don't necessarily have to eat every day. Here at the aquarium, we offer food to them several times a day. In fact, usually we'll offer food 2 to 3 times every day in the exhibit, which means a penguin can choose what they want to eat and how much they want to eat at any given time. So while we see that Ray has gotten out of the water and is coming over to stand near Kim, she ate a few fish, and that's fine. She's got a choice about exactly how much she wants to eat. Now, Ray is very interested in interacting with Kim. Since she has all the food she needs for now, Kim is instead the most interesting thing to her. Ray loves interacting with our staff because she has spent a lot of time with them right after she hatched. When Ray hatched here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, she had cataracts. She was born with them, but we were able to get her medical care to improve her eyesight. All that care meant she has spent lots of hands-on time being cared for by specifically Kim. So she's very comfortable around our staff and very comfortable around Kim. So since she's not too hungry, now's a good time to spend time with her favorite person. Kim, though, is making sure that all the penguins get some food, and you can really see a lot of interplay between the animals. One of the things you'll notice is that it's kind of a free-for-all. It's every penguin for his or herself. There is no pecking order, which means there is no alpha penguin. There's no ruler of the penguin colony who gets to eat first. Every penguin who's hungry is going to grab fish, and every penguin who is not hungry is going to hop out of the water and take care of themselves. The one thing you may notice in the interplay is that there are 2 penguins who are pretty disruptive, and they're also gray. If you notice, in the middle of this colony of bold black and white heads bobbing through the water. There are some gray heads that kind of disappear into the background. You might have to look closely for them to stand out. These are our two youngest. Thule and Piper are both female chicks who were hatched in December here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium, just like Ray hatched here, and they still have their juvenile plumage, which is good because they're still learning how to be penguin colony members. And that might mean they try and steal the fish that another penguin has grabbed, or they might swim too close and bump into another penguin. They're doing all kinds of things, including swimming on top of the other penguins. They're kind of in the middle of everything, which is fine because they are less than a year old, and their feather patterns tell that to the rest of the colony. So even though it's a free-for-all and no one's in charge, the penguins know you need to cut the kids a little slack. They are still learning. So when a Piper or Thule gets in the middle of things, the adults are going to continue on. Now, our penguins just got the finish signal. That means it's kind of a hand wave gesture back and forth, letting the animals know they don't need to expect anything else going on. We are going to, like I said, offer food several times throughout the day and also other activities. So when you keep an eye on our webcam, you may see more of these activities. You may see how we've moved the rocks or turned on and off the waterfalls. So there are other things to make the day interesting. But you may also notice that once the finish signal was given, all the penguins are hopping out of the water. So we're getting to see all the animals get back on land. In fact, by the time they're all settled from this meal, the only ones left in the water might be Piper and Thule. They love swimming, and we can expect that with their kids. With the older penguins, you may see a lot of preening going on. You'll see them using their beak to clean or preen their feathers, and you may even see some mutual preening. That's when the penguins take their beak and preen their partner. So our penguins partner up into mated pairs, and a bonding behavior is often to clean their mate. So look to see which penguins meet up with which other penguins, and see if you can start to recognize those mated pairs. Now, we're done with our penguin feeding here, but for another narrated feeding like this, you can come back to our website tomorrow. The first one in the morning will be the 11 o'clock open sea feeding tomorrow online. And if you're able to, making a donation using the button below this webcam will allow us to continue our mission while we're closed. Your donation will be put to work immediately for the animal care you see, as well as basic ongoing maintenance of the aquarium. We are so happy you can join us online and watch all the antics of our penguin colony, and we hope that you can join us in person again soon. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day here at the Monterey Bay Aquarium's website.